Well, it really is. It's a great honor and a pleasure to be here to tell you a story that I've called Snap Judgements, which is about the rise, fall, and rescue of Snapple. And it's a story that has a very simple lesson. If you want to innovate, you've got to break rules. And I'm going to show you how the teams that broke the rules did a heck of a lot better than the teams that followed the rules. Now, you'd probably say, okay, this is the kind of story they don't tell you in business school, but the truth is that the Snapple case is taught to the first marketing class of first-year students at both Harvard and Wharton. And the good news is today I'm going to give you some insights that those students never get to hear, and I'm going to save you $30,000 in tuition. The bad news is listening to the speech does not look that great on your resume. So let me take you back to 1972 and introduce you to three guys, Lenny Marsh, Jaime Golden, and Arnie Greenberg. They're ordinary working guys from the streets of Brooklyn. Lenny and Jaime were brothers-in-law. They owned a window washing business in Manhattan and a small health food store in Queens. They were turning 40. They wanted to find a way to make some extra money. So they got together and decided they were going to start up a new business. They took $60,000 and opened up a business in an industry that they knew nothing about, beverages. They called their company the Unadulterated Juice Company. It's a pretty catchy name. And they started selling 100% juices that they brought in from California under the trademark L&A. Now, they tried all sorts of different drinks, and they weren't doing really well, and they decided to do a 100% juice carbonated apple to try to compete with the soda business. And they called it Snappy Apple. And one of them said, well, why don't we call it Snapple? And they all thought that was a great idea. And they went to register the trademark, and they found out that somebody from Texas already owned it. So Lenny called him up, and after a tough negotiation, they bought the Snapple trademark for $500. Now, having spent all that money, they decided, why just waste it on that one product? So they changed the name of the entire product line from L&A to Snapple. They continued to struggle for the next couple of years. In 1986, they were up to about $5 million in sales, not making any money. They were about breaking even. And they decided it was time that they better cut costs. So they went from 100% juice down to 10% juice and introduced some lemonades and fruit punch and orangeades and things like that in this quirky bottle that's very familiar to you now, the paper label. And for some reason, it really took off. But the next year was when Snapple really exploded. They came out with their flavored iced teas, lemon, peach, and raspberry. And they asked Arnie Greenberg what accounted for the tea's great success. He said it was the first iced teas that didn't taste like battery acid. Well, these brands started to grow, and word of Snapple's success spread throughout the country, and they started to sign up distributors, what I call guys with trucks. Anybody that had extra room on their trucks for the products, they'd sign them up. So they got tobacco wholesalers, beer distributors, soft drink guys, anybody who had passion for this brand. And the distributors gave Lenny, Jaime, and Arnie some advice. They said, if you want to grow this business, you've got to advertise. So right around that time, a young, shy radio DJ from New York by the name of Howard Stern had become pretty popular in the air. And Lenny, Jaime, and Arnie used to listen to him on the way to work in the morning. So they decided, let's put some ads there, probably so they could listen to their own commercials on the way to work every day. Well, Howard really took a liking to the three guys and began to do long monologues about Snapple and how much he liked it. And Stern's passionate fan base really took a liking to the brand as well. Now, on the other side of the political radio dial, we got Rush Limbaugh. Now, Rush Limbaugh was a Snapple addict. It was probably a harbinger of his personality to come. But he used to talk about it all the time on his show, so the owners figured, what the heck, and they went out and they started advertising on the Limbaugh show. Now, only a brand like Snapple could advertise on both Stern and Limbaugh. They were rule breakers. They followed their instincts. They never followed the rules. They also followed their instincts when it came to new products. They really didn't believe a lot in market research. So the three guys used to sit around the table and have arguments about which flavor was best, and they'd drink products and personally pick the flavors. And they always went for flavors that nobody else had developed before. They invented kiwi strawberry, guava mania, mango madness, and they were all working really well. By 1990, they'd grown to $50 million in sales, this little side business. And that afforded them money to start buying these Visicoolers, refrigerators, and they put them right next to the Pepsi and Coke coolers in the pizza parlors and delis around New York. And of course, that made Pepsi and Coke sit up and take notice. So they formed alliances with the big tea companies, Lipton and Nestea. Now, that made the owners really nervous. I mean, here they were. Now they were in their 50s. Their business was worth millions of dollars. And all of a sudden, the big boys were coming in the arena.